Alrighty, welcome back, boys and girls. It's your main math man, Mr. Jen, coming to you live from Walker Grand Middle School. And on the back, you always want to flip to the back because just like your hand, it always has a back, except it could be blank. But it says this, it says a reflection or a flip.
Are you making a video? Yes. Shut up.
Is a transformation in which a figure is reflected over an axis. A reflection creates a mirror image of the original. The size and shape of the figure stays the same. Every point on a reflection is in the same distance from the axis as the corresponding point of the original figure. Or you could also call that the pre-image. Again, you want to say that the corresponding point, again, A goes to A prime, B goes to B prime, so on and so forth. The image is congruent, meaning the same. Again, you use the symbol equal to with a little squiggly above it. And then it says to the original figure. But the orientation of the image is different from that of the pre-image. So again, when you're thinking of which way it is facing, that is what is called the orientation. So then it says underneath of that, it's when reflecting over the x-axis, the x values always stay the same, and we take the opposite of the y values. So again, we're going to use this first example as such. So we're going to have graph the triangle PQR with these vertices, and then graph the image when it's reflected over x-axis. So again, when you plot those points, you make sure to label them. Again, we can connect them to draw this triangle. So again, use a ruler for this if you want to be sure to connect them correctly. And so now we have this. So this is our pre-image. And so we have that we're reflecting over the x. And so if it's saying over the x, again, you can let's highlight purple. Let's say the x-axis, as always, is horizontal, and so we're going to end up going vertically. We're going to change our vertical values. And so, again, as a reminder, we flip over the x. That means the x stays the same and the y values are opposite. And so it's going to look like this. Again, our new values, as always, our new points are going to be P prime, Q prime, and R prime. The x values stay the same, but we take the opposite of the y values. And so in orange, I can draw it like this. We're going to have 3, negative 4. So we're going to go negative 3, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have, that is P prime. So I'm just going to go through and plot these points and label them. So now that I have these points plotted, again, I can connect them to show the shape, again, which is a triangle. So I connect these points like such, And again, the key idea to this, if you ever need to check to make sure you're doing that right, you always can see, hey, how far away is each of those points from the axis? And so I have, this is going to be 2 spaces away, which is also 2 spaces away. Again, we're saying that each of these points are the same distance from the axis. So the r's are 1 step away, and the p values are going to be 4 steps away. All right, so we know we are good for that one. Alrighty, so now underneath the second example, it says when reflecting over the y-axis, the y values stay the same, and we take the opposite of the x values. And again, that key point that we were saying about on the previous one as well, each point is the same distance from that axis. And so I'm going to graph these points first, like so. So just follow along as I do them. Again, as soon as you connect those points, you can have your shape or your polygon. So now, again, I have my original image, and then again I'm flipping over the y-axis, and so the y values stay the same, and the x values are the opposite now. And so again, our points are going to look like this. We have A prime is going to be 4, 1, B prime is going to be 2, 3, C prime is going to stay the same since our x value is 0, and D prime, again it should be D prime, should be 3, -2. So again, I can plot those new points like so. Again, as soon as you plot those points, you can connect those points to show your image, and we know we're good. Again, that y-axis is what we are reflecting over.